Good afternoon. Welcome to the 2020 WMBC Keynote event. My name is Scott Coles. I'm founder of WMBC. As we continue to make our way through these challenging times, we are constantly inspired by how well we as human beings have worked our way through this new norm. We're saddled with new ways of doing business, virtual business, working from home, new ways of communicating with our constituents, new ways of servicing our clients, all at the same time as we're now challenged, many of us, with how we're going to help our children with their virtual education. And yet, we as human beings continue to find a way. I've been in the financial services industry now for over 40 years, and one thing I can say for sure is there are always going to be new norms. In the 40 years I've been in the business, I've been through 7 different presidential administrations, countless federal income and estate tax changes. We've dealt with hyperinflation, low inflation, even stagnation. We've seen 3 significant recessions along with smaller ones. We've seen geopolitical issues that we thought would destroy our economy. We've been through racial issues, pandemics, and that's just to name the highlights. If we were to wait for the perfect moment to make economic decisions, we probably would never make a decision at all. I have come to realize that there are opportunities in all situations, and it is important to remember that the only thing we can count on as a consistent is change. Understanding that life is ever changing, WMBC has 2 exciting announcements we'd like to share with you. First, we are adding new investment portfolios to our management. Second, we will announce the improvements made to our proprietary human wealth planning. At this point, I'd like to bring David Coles, our new president, up to introduce our new investment portfolios.
We are excited to share with you the improvements we have made in our investment department. Our goal is to provide greater flexibility and increased transparency for each one of our clients. First, I'll start with greater flexibility. WMBC has added the ability for your advisor to exercise discretion over your investment portfolios. What is discretion? Discretionary investment management allows an investment advisor to make buy and sell decisions for the client's account. Prior to the advisor being granted discretion over a client's account, the client and advisor will create an investment policy statement, which will define the parameters the advisor can work within. By allowing the advisor discretion, they will have the ability to quickly make trades in the account according to market conditions. As an example, earlier this year, the market saw a quick downturn due to COVID-19, sometimes dropping 4 to 5% a day. WMBC advisors wanted to make adjustments to their clients' portfolios to protect their investments. Without discretion, in order to enact the changes, the advisor needed to call each one of their clients to discuss the changes prior to trade execution. If the advisor did not get a hold of the client, they had to wait until a verbal confirmation was had, sometimes days later. With discretion, the advisor could have enacted the trades right away, according to the parameters in the investment policy statement. We believe the option for your trusted advisor to exercise discretion can offer speed and flexibility to your investment accounts that was not possible at WMBC before. Next, to increase flexibility, WMBC is adding 2 new options to our investment strategies. Just as diversification among market sectors is important, it can be just as important to have diversity among investment strategies within a portfolio. At the end of this year, we are adding a quantitative-driven portfolio that adjusts according to key metrics in the market and economy, as well as an alternative portfolio that will give you, individual investors, access to private equity and other investments that have typically been reserved for large endowments. I've asked Nikki to tell us all about it.
First, I would like to introduce you to the WMBC quantitative portfolio. What is it? These portfolios will consist of diversified equities and fixed income funds. Further, they will use various relative strength indicators within the economy and the stock market to drive what percentage of the portfolio is being allocated toward equities versus fixed income. We have all heard the saying, buy low and sell high. Great advice, right? However, there are two issues with this. One, no one knows when the low lows are or when the high highs are. And two, we're all human and are subject to illogical emotions. These models are designed to use vast amounts of quantitative data to determine when to exit and enter the market. While this strategy is not a crystal ball, our studies have shown that it provides material benefits over many buy and hold strategies. Each week, we'll review the various quantitative indicators to determine if a change is necessary to your investment strategy. If the indicators reveal a change is needed, the portfolio will be rebalanced. Experience has shown that these changes occur between 4 and 6 times per year. In chart 1, you'll notice light green reflects maximum allocation to equities, while the light purple reflects minimum allocation to equities. When there is a bear market, you'll notice we lower our equity exposure, and when there is a bull market, we increase our equity exposure. In chart 2, the result will be that you do not capture the lowest lows or the highest highs of the market, but the returns in the middle. These portfolios are designed to be more active in nature and are a great choice for one's retirement account because of the tax efficiency retirement accounts provide. Next, I would like to introduce our new alternative portfolio. These portfolios include private equities, private real estate equity, and real estate debt. Many of these investments were not available a few years ago because you needed a large sum of money to invest in them. We are now able to bring these investments to you. For instance, one of the investments within this portfolio allows us to invest in large, established private companies before they go public. Alternative investments, by their very nature, tend to be less efficiently priced than traditional public securities, providing an opportunity to exploit market inefficiencies, diversification, and a hedge to traditional public securities while generating income. At the start of each year, we will monitor these asset classes and investment managers to determine if they are aligned with our strategy and, if needed, reallocate accordingly. Further, we'll be in constant contact with the managers throughout the year. These models provide diversification from public markets and an income stream to an investment strategy.
We have shared with you the greater flexibility we have given to our clients through discretion and more investment options. Next, I want to share a little bit about increased transparency, a topic that clients and prospective clients ask a lot of questions on is fees. How much does my advisor get paid? What services can I expect from the fees we pay? Typically, an advisor will charge one fee to their client, but the services provided are not clear. If financial planning is offered in that fee, the depth of that planning is not clear either. WMBC will be separating our financial planning fees from our investment fees. Again, this will allow clients greater flexibility in the services they choose and greater transparency in the fees they are charged. Let's first look at the changes to the investment management fees. The financial planning fees will be addressed later in this keynote. Comparing the benefits of the legacy investment services to the new fee structure and services, you can see that most of the services you have come to appreciate at WMBC will continue forward, with the exception of comprehensive planning. As well, under the new structure, you will be granted access to the quantitative portfolios, our new alternative portfolios, the opportunity for your advisor to exercise discretion over these accounts, and the possibility for a reduced investment management fee. Through the use of new technology and increased efficiency in our processes, we are able to offer our investment management services at a reduced rate. Prior, Our legacy fee structure looked like this. Our new fee structure will be broken out into two sections. First, you will have an advisor fee, which starts at 0.75% annually and goes down from there. Next, depending on the investment strategy chosen, there will be a platform fee associated with it. Why are we doing this? Certain investment strategies require more technology, more time, and more trading costs than other strategies. We wanted to make sure that the fees were charged appropriately for the investment strategies selected. The WMBC Strategic Hold Strategy and the LTAM Tactical Strategy will be assessed a fee of 0.15% annually per account. Next, the WMBC Quantitative Portfolio will be assessed a fee of 0.25% annually, and the Alternative Portfolio will be assessed a fee of 0.35% annually. Let's see an example of a client with $2 million of assets under management with WMBC. Under our legacy structure, a client would be charged 1%, which equals $20,000 per year. Under our new investment program, a client would be charged 0.75% on the first $1 million under management and 0.6% on the second $1 million under management. A typical client may have $1 million in our strategic hold portfolio, $750,000 in our quantitative portfolio, and $250,000 in our alternative investment portfolio. As you can see, the fees are broken down as such. The advisory fee would be a total of $13,500, and the program fees would be a total of $4,250. Added together, our client's total investment advisory fee for the year would be $17,750, which is a savings of $2,250 per year. We want this transition to be as smooth as possible for our clients. We've prepared for this transition, and Adele is going to tell you about that process.
Hello all, my name is Adele Hartman, and I am the Client Service Specialist here at WMBC. I work closely with Mickey to ensure that your financial systems are set up properly and serviced within a timely manner. With the introduction of our new investment models comes the opportunity to switch from your current investment strategy to a new one. This process may seem daunting, but we're here to make it easy for you. The process begins by meeting with your advisor and together deciding what investment models aligns best for you and your current financial goals. If the decision is made to transition from one of our new models, I will prepare an investment policy statement and an investment advisory agreement for you to review and sign. Once we receive your signed forms, Mickey will engage our custodian to make the needed adjustments. Upon completion, we'll send you an email confirming that the model is in place. As always, we try to make everything as simple as possible for our clients here at WMBC. If you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to me.
The experience of being human is vast and diverse. Yet there is a familiarity that extends through the heart of every being, a connection not always visible, but felt. Our intention for creating human wealth is to introduce the universal components that allow all to live well while developing a model that makes space for the individuality of each one of us. In doing so, we can design wealth plans that bridge the gap between our subjective or perceptive experience and our material resources, allowing for the generation of financial systems that are meaningful, sustainable, feasible, and integrable. Since the launch of Human Wealth in 2018, we have continued to evolve. Our science-based Discover Wellbeing questionnaire is more efficient than ever. Countless hours have been spent creating a more robust resource exploration phase. Additional resources have been invested in our space to allow for greater collaboration as we design your systems. And just recently, we partnered with a technology team to develop a platform that will monitor the progress of your human wealth plan with more ease. This has been no easy task, and in my 40 years of experience, a feat yet to be approached in the financial sector. But through passion, persistence, and participation from an incredible team, we have been able to create a planning process that captures the wealth of being human. I would like to invite Evan up to explain more about it.
Human wealth is our 4-phase planning modality that begins with understanding the composition of your subjective well-being. Subjective well-being is the way we feel or perceive the areas of our lives that contribute to us feeling well. We use the dynamic model of well-being as our framework for understanding what allows us to feel well. The model comprises 4 components: personal resources, external conditions, proper functioning, and experience of life. Simply put, our personal resources, including mental and physical health, work together with our external conditions, such as material assets and social network, to allow us to function properly in our environment and thus have a positive or negative experience of life. The dynamism of the model comes to life in the relationship between the 4 components, as our experience of life informs the way we behave, and our interactions continuously shape ourselves and our world. Since our announcement of human wealth, we have made significant innovations to the first phase, Discover Wellbeing. First, we have taken the dynamic model to a more granular level by breaking down the 4 components into 13 attributes. This allows us to be more precise in mapping out the composition of your well-being, and space for the arising of more genuine insights when we meet together. Second, through careful analysis, we have shortened the Discover Wellbeing questionnaire by over 50%, providing greater ease and accessibility for our clients. Third, we have expanded the well-being profile to include our clients' life transitions. In this section, we will account for any of the 8 major life transitions our scientists have identified as significantly impactful on one's well-being. At Human Wealth and WMBC, we are committed to having the most scientifically robust understanding of well-being available and deploying that knowledge in a way that is meaningful for our clients. I would now like to invite Ryan Coles, the Chief Science Officer at Human Wealth and Assistant Professor at the University of Connecticut, to talk about the improvements we've made to the second phase of Human Wealth, Explore Resources.
In business and finance, we talk a lot about financial and human capital, and we strategize how to increase our monetary and human resources. But there's a third type of capital that is equally important for our success and life satisfaction: social capital. Social capital refers to the resources, support, and information accessible through our social networks. What we're finding in the scientific community is that much of what we achieve financially and intellectually is actually driven by this third type of capital. The social capital in your network depends not only on the content and structure and density of your social network, but also on the culture, levels of trust, and norms of reciprocity in which your network is embedded. 2 people with identical social network structures can have different levels of social capital due to their networks being embedded in 2 different cultural normative contexts. Social capital is not just an individual attribute, it's also a community attribute, and levels of community social capital impact individual social capital. What we're finding as sociologists is that if we take 2 people with equal levels of individual social capital and place one of those persons in a community with low community social capital, and the other person in a community with high community social capital. The person in the community with low social capital will be less efficient in mobilizing his or her individual social capital than the person in a community with high social capital. In other words, the social capital of the strangers around you matters for your own social capital. Scientifically speaking, love thy neighbor as thyself is loving yourself. What we find in our research on socially rich versus socially poor communities is that ensuring food security for people around you that you don't know indirectly creates better food security for yourself. Ensuring quality education for local strangers who may not deserve it increases the education performance of your own kids. Increasingly, social scientists are learning that social capital is perhaps the most important form of capital that we can accumulate for our financial success and our overall well-being. However, social capital has been on the decline in the United States since the 1980s, contributing to lower rates of social mobility, life satisfaction, and physical health, which is why we at Human Wealth made social resources a pillar of our well-being diagnostic and financial advisory training. We knew we needed to expand the Explore Resources phase to include an evaluation of your health and your social capital. Now, we can map out your immediate social network, identify your structural position within your social network, evaluate what needs your social network provides and doesn't provide, and then calibrate our plans to maximize your social capital. Historically, your advisor would only inquire about your material assets, real estate, cash accounts, and investments. But now, we are preparing the next generation of wealth advisors who can create client plans that increase all three forms of capital: financial, human, and social. True wealth is financial security, expanding intellect, and human connection, all rolled into one.
We believe that through the innovations introduced today, we will be able to more accurately map out your subjective well-being and design more skillfully the system to support it. But there is one more thing. We have partnered with Salesforce and VantagePoint Consulting to develop our technology platform. Through the power of the #1 CRM on the planet and the expertise of the team at VantagePoint, we will be able to capture your human wealth with greater precision and monitor the changes in your well-being, material assets, and social network like never before. By leveraging our technology, we will be able to automate tasks that previously would draw the attention of your advisor away from their true position as your confidant and consultant in bridging the gap between your financial resources and well-being. The next evolution of wealth planning is here, as is the technology to support it, and it includes a lot more than what you have in your 401k. In fact, it includes the throb of your heart, the exhale at the end of a long day, the warmth of a familiar hand, the wealth of being human.
Scott Coles is a pioneer in financial planning. The financial industry saw the introduction of financial planning in the late 1970s, which was mainly focused on selling private placement investments and annuities. In the mid-80s, the industry shifted to the questions of who is my client and what do they need? Scott began financial planning in 1983. You would be hard-pressed to find a person with greater experience than him. Further, it'll be even harder to find a person more dedicated to ensuring the financial plans he or she creates are focused on the client's needs, void of their own interests. With Scott's strong influence on WMBC's culture, we are changing the way we charge fees for our financial plans as we roll out Human Wealth to all. A main desire on this change of fee structure is to reduce your advisor's conflict of interest. Conflict of interest is a situation in which the concerns or aims of two different parties are incompatible. As we discussed earlier, the standard in financial services industry is to charge for all services through a percentage of the investment assets the advisor manages. However, in designing financial systems, this makes the advisor biased towards allocating more assets to investments they manage, as opposed to other areas such as the client's business or real estate. In an effort to reduce this conflict of interest, WMBC will be charging our financial planning fees based on the net worth of the client. This will encourage our advisors to make recommendations based on the client's whole financial situation. Again, solidifying our desire to ask, what does my client really need? Also, the time needed to create a wealth plan and the complexities of it are more closely related to the size of a business or estate and not necessarily to the amount of investment assets the advisor manages. We will be charging our financial planning fees as a fixed quarterly fee based on a range of net worth. This fee will be charged in the same manner as your investment fees. We feel this new way of charging planning fees, coupled with our improved human wealth process, will provide less biased recommendations and a more personal financial plan.
As you can see, we have assembled a team of amazing people. Another thing you may have noticed is that we have been anything but idle since our last Keynote event. We've learned that change is part of the wealth of being human, and through it, we gain wisdom in how to move forward. I believe the innovations we brought to you today are what our clients deserve and what the industry needs in order to continue the human progression. Our goals for the innovations you learned of today are: first, flexibility through discretionary investment management and the addition of 2 new investment strategies. Second, transparency by the separation of investment fees and planning fees, and by setting a clear expectation of the services provided on each platform. And third, well-being by bridging the gap between our subjective experiences of life and our material resources. During your next investment meeting, we will review your current situation and ensure that you are supported by the financial systems that help you experience life more fully. Thank you for watching, and remember, wealth is about well-being.